Hi guys. This is there's not going to be many records in this video. In fact, there's only one. But this is going to be a kind of hello answer to a couple of threads that's going on at the moment, and yeah, just thanks really. Yeah, so first up I'll show the record that I got, which is David Allen, Banana Moon. This is something I've wanted for a while. Great cover artwork there on the back. This is from 70, 71, 70. Yeah, early 70s. 75. 75 this came out. This is a solo album by David Allen called Banana Moon. It's got Robert Wyatt, Archie Legg, Christian Tritch, Pip Pyle, great drummer, Maggie Bell, various people on this. But this is a great album. It skews from kind of gong sounding stuff all the way back to kind of Kinksy sounding tracks. Like certainly on the first side here, the couple of ones do almost sound like Kinks rip-offs, but only with kind of crazy David Allen, or was it Small Faces? Small Faces maybe, but only with David Allen's kind of quirkier lyrics. And this is on one of my favourite labels, which is the Virgin subsidiary of Caroline, which I think is really cool. And I think this is the first UK pressing as well. It's got A2 B1 stampers. So, but yeah, really pleased to finally have this, and it's a great album. I'm going through a bit of a gong phase at the moment, so it's fine to pick that up. Pick this up as well. I'll just show this quickly. This is for Rob. I know he'll be out there watching, and I saw this, so I thought, I don't think The Enemy gets released in the States, so this is a special collector's edition all about Morsy, which I think I possibly sent him a similar thing a year or so ago about the Smiths. Yeah, so they've done a Morsy one, so this will be winging its way to you very soon. So yeah, that's it really. A couple of articles I've read quite recently, which are pretty cool. First up, in the newest edition of Shindig, which is great by the way. It's now the second and only music magazine I get. I obviously buy Record Collector and Shindig, but this has a big article here about the Austin Psych Fest, which obviously Andreas and Nathan and everyone went to, and it sounds like it was as good as they were saying. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, new Shindig. I don't know whether Nathan and Andreas, I've not heard from Andreas for a while, whether they're still out there watching, but hi guys if you are. And another one, which is something that's come up quite a lot in the VC, was in last month or the month before, was last month I think, Record Collector, was this one, which I think Mark would find quite interesting, because I know it's something that's been bandied around in the VC quite a lot, is does the weight of vinyl make any difference? And certainly according to this article, it sounds quite sceptical. But there's some interesting things about this. Some of the points it's made it here. 180 gram vinyl disc is normally black, which it says is, well, I'll just read this bit. 180 gram vinyl disc is normally black. This, surprisingly, is far from asserting the obvious, because in its native state, vinyl is clear. Manufacturers actually add the black colour, called carbon black, later. Being carbon based, it actually features a slight magnetic influence, which does have a negative effect on the delicate cartridge magnets on a turntable. This is why the now defunct reissue record label Classic pressed limited edition clear vinyl editions on heavyweight vinyl. Vinyl in its purest form, you might say, without any magnetic influence. Other additives can, however, be more destructive, negating the whole point of the 180 gram vinyl disc, as Gearbox's Daryl Scheinman confirmed. 180 gram vinyl performance suffers if it is pumped full of colour, or even worse, turned into a picture disc, because for coloured vinyl the colours come from metallic oxides that negatively affect the sound. And then it goes on to saying about people putting glitter and various things actually into the vinyl itself. But it does say that there are also many other variables, obviously to do with pressings and, you know, which batch it came in and which plates were used and various things like that. But what it does say is that 180 gram, or, you know, other thicknesses, 200. Was there a 3 King Crimson? Was it on 300 gram vinyl? I think maybe. That obviously it's less susceptible to warping, and the flatter your record is, obviously the purer the tracking and things are going to be. But another interesting point that it makes is that because 180 gram vinyl is generally more expensive than, you know, a standard record, and the companies know that I don't like the word audiophiles, but people are willing to pay more for 180 gram vinyl. They reckon that they generally take more care in the pressings, in the actual pressing of the record. So although the sound quality or it could be exactly the same plates and everything, they actually take more care over the pressing, so it should be nicer, but it's maybe not actually to do with the quality of the vinyl, if that makes sense. It's more to do with the fact that they take more time and care in the pressing. So I thought that was a really interesting article that might clear up some things and some questions that people had in the VC as well, because it always kind of crops up and shows its head. So yeah, on to a couple of the threads that have been going on. One, which I think, I'm not sure who started it, has been, what does the VC mean to me? Which is pretty simple for me to answer, actually, because I think, like most of the people in the VC, a good way of explaining it is actually me and my friend always have this conversation about the 1%, and say the group of islands that I live in is has a population of about 20,000, I think. So I would say I was in the top 1% of people that are into music, but that's still 2,000 people. Oh, sorry, 200. Yeah. So yeah, I could be in the top. Am I in the top 1% of that 1%? And basically, I have friends that are into music. I have friends that like music, but nowhere near the same level that I'm at. So um, I needed an out of a way of being able to speak to people about music, tell people about the things that I wanted to see, show the things that I've got, because really nobody that I know is that interested. You know, a lot of them think, you know, because they've got a two-tone ska compilation, that they think that's pretty cool, which it is, to be fair. But you know, there's so much more once you start scratching the surface, and you realise that there's just this big hole underneath, just full of new stuff. I almost get to the stage where I can't absorb it all quick enough, which I think is a problem a lot of VC members have. You know, you buy so much stuff. I remember when I first started getting into music, you'd buy an album and you would listen to it permanently for, you know, the weeks until you got your next one. But now I'm almost buying things faster than I can absorb it, which isn't good. But the VC is great for staying in contact with people and conversing about music and discovering new things and being able to show things to people and find things for people. And it's brilliant. It's the same. It's kind of the same thing as about the VCLT. You know, I remember ages ago somebody asking someone how they get VC. You know, how do they get some VCLT? And you should never expect it. I think that's, you know, that's the key. Don't expect. Don't ask how you get VCLT. Don't ever send somebody something because you want them to send something back, because you'll only ever be disappointed. You know, I've picked this up for Rob, you know, and I'm going to post it out to him. I don't expect him to send anything back. I've bought him this because I know he'll love it, and that's how it should be. You know, I've sent out VCLT in the past, and I don't expect anything back for it. You know, that's not why it should be done. It's fair enough if it's a trade, if you organise a trade, but then that's not VCLT. You know, VCLT is, you know, me finding something that somebody would dig, and I post it to them. And you know, if somebody finds something that they think I like and they post it to me, that's awesome. You know, really, really good. But I wouldn't ever expect them to, you know, if you're going to send me some VCLT just because you want me to send you something back, that's not the way to go around it. You know, because it can only ever be a disappointment that way. But that's, I'm kind of digressing a bit on that. So yeah, the VC is great, and I've just noticed actually I've now topped 400 subs. I'm on like 416, 417 subscribers. So that's kind of snuck up on me. So I'm really pleased with that. But yeah, and another one thread that's kind of going around at the moment is something you just don't get. You know, is there a band or an album that you just don't get? And there's been some interest. Some people have shown some interest in things. Wes showed Velvet Underground, which I can kind of understand, but I completely disagree with them. Completely. I love the Velvet Underground, and although that's Velvet Underground and Nico isn't my favourite Velvet Underground album, yeah, I love them. But mine is possibly even more controversial in the VC than picking the Velvet Underground, and mine is Miles Davis. I don't get it. I don't have any Miles Davis on vinyl. This is it. This is all I own by him, Bitches Brew, which people, you know, go on about in the VC as being a masterpiece. So I got this kind of fancy 3-disc edition of Bitches Brew. That's because I thought I'll give it a whirl. And I've listened to some of his things in the past, but I thought, well, maybe I'm not just listening to the right stuff, but I don't get it. Miles, yeah, and I've listened to other Miles Davis things, but that's it. Maybe I haven't found my way in yet. I used to hate Genesis, well, like early Genesis. I still hate the Phil Collins led, you know, pish basically that came out in the 80s. I still hate that, but early Genesis I love, like the Peter Gabriel stuff. I used to hate Genesis, but not anymore. So maybe I've not found my way in. The Smiths as well. I never liked the Smiths, and then I listened to Reel Around the Fountain. I got their first album and put it on, and as soon as that song started, I was like, no, actually, I really like the Smiths. Really good. So maybe I've not found my way into Miles Davis yet, but yeah, so far I don't get it. So that's my response to that. And this is nearly 17 minutes. That's plenty long enough for really showing one record and one CD that I don't like. Well, a record that I do like, CD that I don't. So at least I'm mixing it up a bit. Take care and love to hear your comments.